Hello, everybody. Welcome to One Place East in Conversations. This is issue number 25. It's the podcast where we can have honest conversations about disability and mental health. So my name's Cara, and I'm the Wellbeing Group Development Officer here at One Place East, which means that I program groups, events, and activities that support mental health and wellbeing, as well as facilitating journaling and creative writing groups. I'm particularly interested in how writing connects to mental health and how that can act as a support. So today we're coming together to talk about Mental Health Awareness Week, and I'm here with Sue and Malaika. So some of the information that we're sharing in this episode is from the Mental Health Foundation, who are the home of Mental Health Awareness Week. And you can find lots more information about this year's theme and the work that they do on their website, which is www.mentalhealth.org.uk. Great. So what is Mental Health Awareness Week? I'm just going to do a little bit of an intro into that, and then I'm going to allow my lovely guests to introduce themselves. So Mental Health Awareness Week is vital in helping to reduce stigma and keep the conversation around mental health open and accessible. We all have mental health. Sometimes we feel well and sometimes we don't, but we all have mental health just as we all have physical health. So across the nation, charities, workplaces, schools and communities are using Mental Health Awareness Week to raise awareness and take action in supporting each other to prevent poor mental health and to build and protect good mental health. So everyone deserves good mental health. I think we can all agree on that.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
And it's a key foundational feature of how we live well and how we stay connected to each other. So that's a little bit about Mental Health Awareness Week, which runs from this. We're recording a little bit early. But this episode is going to come out during Mental Health Awareness Week, which is from the 11th until the 15th of May. So the theme this year is action. So what they wanted to focus on this year was thinking a bit about not just raising awareness, but how we take action to kind of have even more of an impact. So even the small actions to support mental health can help us individually feel more hopeful and less powerless, and also more connected. So real change happens when we're able to take action either for ourselves or for others, and small changes in our routines can make a big impact. We might be at a place in our lives where we need to take action to better our own mental health, or we might be able to take action to improve the well-being of those around us. Or even the betterment of wider society. And evidence proves that good mental health comes from small, everyday acts of care that build up long-term habits, whether that's caring for ourselves or caring for others. So that is a little bit of an introduction to Mental Health Awareness Week and the theme of action. And now I'm going to give you guys a chance to introduce yourselves. If you could tell me I know your names, obviously, and we've all had a nice little chat outside. So we all know a little bit about each other, but our listeners don't know anything yet. So if you could take a second to introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about how you got connected with One Place East. And then as a little bonus question of interest, are you a podcast person? Or are you a film and TV or music person? And what have you been watching or listening to recently? I'm looking at you, Malaika. I feel like something's telling me you're going to go first.
First of all, hi. But I feel like I wanted to even quickly get that question out of the way. I'm both.
Yeah, okay.
Both. Anything creative in any form. That's also accessible, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I love TV shows. And what was I watching recently? Paradise, the series. Really like that. I like documentaries. I like hearing other people's stories and just what goes on in people's minds, really. So that it's in any form. And so podcasts as well. I think it's whatever you want to listen to.
Yeah.
If I have interest and I want to find something that somebody's talking about, then I'll listen to it, even if it's a little clip on the corner of YouTube. So yeah, I'm both. A little bit about myself. I got introduced to One Place East through the Trauma Recovery College in Waltham Forest. I went to one of the sessions where they were talking about trauma and just breaking things down, and then I got introduced to One Place East in that way. What else do I say? Yeah, I'm someone that is very passionate about a wide range of mental health conditions, some things that people may not necessarily see as a disability, but I see as what people are able to do or need assistance to be able to do something. And so, yeah, I don't know how else to introduce myself.
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
But yeah.
So when did you first start coming to One Place?
I think it was 2022 or 2023. Okay. I was using the services in the center at the time, and I think I just mentioned that I've done a lot of talk therapy and I've tried to research and understand things myself. And then they're like, okay, actually, it's this available. So I have interest in that field, and I come from a very creative background. And so I met other creatives there, and it just happened like that. And then obviously I met you later.
Great. Yeah. And you've mostly done stuff online, is that right?
Yeah, like I joined, there's a Wednesday warrior groups, and then there's calming the mind and body, and then I've been open to doing the poetry and journal wellness as well. So it's my first time actually in this building, which I think is going to associate me better to coming back and actually being here. But I think I just really appreciate the online aspect for when I'm not able to come.
Yeah.
So that I found it very accessible for me to join, and it's just a really safe space, really.
Yeah, nice. These groups are great. Honestly, so good.
I think it's everyone that shows up when they can. It's just more people need something like that if it works for them. I think it's a privilege that we have that space. Don't know what I'll do without it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And I'm so glad that you were able to come in today and chat with us and be introduced to the One Place East community in person. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. I will move on to Sue.
Hi, I'm Sue. I'm going to try and go in a logical order so that I don't lose
It's okay. I'll remind you if you've missed anything.
So my journey to here is quite random in the sense that my background, I was a teacher. I had left my job for my children primarily, and I started on a journey sort of to learn and research about neurodivergence. You look up things and you start to realize that you have a big part in this, and these are some of the challenges that you face yourself. And then I can't remember how it happened. I think it was my cousin that introduced me and said that Sue Morgan was running a recovery from trauma 6-week course, and I joined that, and that was another chapter in an area that I didn't know much about. And I think you always associate trauma with the big things that you see on TV screens and media, but there's just so much more to it. And so that was my entry into meeting Sue Morgan, who introduced me to Calming the Mind once a month, which I found just transformative. And following on from that, I also joined the Wednesday Warriors group, which is a wonderful, safe space for women to learn more about many of the associated topics with trauma and all of that world. That was, I think that was from 2024 November. And being part of that, I've attended quite a few sessions here. I think it's only been in the last 6 months that I've been into the building. Until then, I attended things online, and I've enjoyed all of them. It's always a safe space, as Malaika said, and the people that are involved, brilliant. especially Sue and Maria and Cara's journaling sessions, which I love.
Yeah. You're always there. It's great.
Oh yes,
it's so reliable.
it's taught me, and this I suppose ties in with mental health. I've learned through the work with OPE to start prioritizing these things. These are things that I would come back to and never get around to doing before, especially when I was in teaching. I just couldn't make time for things. But I'm in a different phase of my life where I value these little snippets that we get. And it's the more you do it, the more you feel like you want to do it as well. And I'm always fascinated by where you can go with the writing.
Yeah.
And in some way, it's all part of good mental health, sort of freeing your mind. So coming back to the question about podcasts.
Oh yeah.
And see, I'm a content person.
Okay. What does that mean to you?
The content has to be interesting. The format isn't an issue.
Right.
So whether they're talking about, for example, something really good to do with mental health, if it's a podcast, I'll listen to the podcast. If it's a show about that or a documentary, I'll lean towards that. I think when it comes to TV series, I am loving going to the cinema recently.
Oh, good.
I think I've made it a thing. My cousin and I, we find suitable films that are not too dramatic, but that you can just immerse yourself in and shut the rest of the world out, and you've just transported yourself somewhere. So I've become a really big fan of going to the cinema. Series, I sort of start and stop depending on what's going on with me. A friend had once said this is a good thing to do, that when everything is a bit too much, watch something you've seen again, because there's less unpredictability coming your way, so it's familiar, you can enjoy it. So I've recently restarted Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, I love restarting old series.
And I love the beginning as well. So I have, in the last maybe 2 months, got through all 20 on season 21.
Oh yeah, yes. You went for it. I like that.
And it's nice because you can watch it, enjoy it. You don't have to be too immersed. So it's kind of like a brain break as well.
Yeah, because you're not kind of invested because you already know it. It's like comforting, and you're not kind of invested in that kind of like, it's not building up. Yeah, that kind of.
You already know what's coming.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not like,
it reduces that tension, especially I think if in your life you're feeling a bit tense and on edge, you don't need to go and watch a thriller.
Absolutely.
You don't need to be on the edge of your seat. So something soothing, not for everybody. It's on Netflix. It's Virgin River. It's so beautiful.
Is it an American set in very beautiful scenery?
Yes.
I think I've seen it come up, but I haven't watched it.
And I feel like the background music and everything is so soothing that whatever happens in the plot, you're very calm.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, I've been watching the opposite of calm, actually, which is
what have you been watching?
Yeah, I've been watching okay, now I'm going to forget what it's called. Oh yeah, it's called Beef.
Oh,
it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
I know.
It's extremely hectic, actually, and everything just gets worse and worse and worse. But it is also very funny. So it's like there's comedic relief, and you can kind of it's the sort of narrative where you're like, they set up the bad thing before the bad thing happens, so you kind of know. And the whole premise is that it gets wildly out of control, which it does pretty quickly, and then all the characters are just in such a big mess that you're like, there's no possible way out of this complete sort of slapstick humor. But anyway, not at all kind of sort of calming. But on the other end of the scale, I've been listening to, not just informed by my experiences podcasting here with One Place East. There's a podcast called The Happiness Lab. Have either of you ever heard of that?
I feel like I've seen it or heard about it or something.
Yeah, it's like, oh God, I can't remember the name of the host now. But they always have just, really, it's all around mental health, obviously, as you might expect from something called the Happiness Lab. And it's, she always has different guests coming in to kind of speak about their area of expertise. And it's very, very informative. And also, like, it's not, sometimes you listen to informative podcasts and you actually just can't really take it in because it's too much.
Yeah.
This is really good because you can listen and it's like conversational enough for you to absorb the information. So that's like two opposite ends of the spectrum. But yeah, similarly, I kind of couldn't really choose between any one or the other. I'm definitely a podcast, film, TV, and music person.
music. I've left out music, but yeah, music, because it's in the movies, it's in the series. I think it's one of the backbones of whatever you're watching.
Yeah, can you imagine if there was no music in any of the things we watched? Then it'd just be so weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, well, thank you both for introducing yourselves. We will talk about mental health now rather than just TV and film. Okay, so I guess because Mental Health Awareness Week has chosen this theme of action, you kind of want to maybe think a little bit about that and about what action means to us in terms of mental health. So I guess we can think of action in two ways. There's like the short-term action, so the immediate things that we might do to kind of benefit our mental health, and then there's long-term action, so like the kind of habit-forming stuff that builds over time and has that kind of like lasting. So both are super important, obviously, and so I mean, maybe we can all think of what's like a short-term action that we rely on, or maybe not rely on, but that is reliable for us if we're kind of going into a hard place, if we're struggling. So for example, a short-term exercise for me might be if I was having a day that I was finding was very overwhelming and I was feeling very anxious, something that I might do would be to do like a round of breathing, like, really intentional, like a breathing exercise, just to kind of put myself in a space where I feel calm and able to go about my day. Or maybe I'll listen to music. Maybe I'm going to put on a song that will kind of boost my mood, or actually maybe I don't need my mood boosted. Maybe I need a big cathartic cry, so I might do that instead. Maybe you guys could give me an example of something, of like a short-term action like that works for you when things are hard. It doesn't matter who goes first, you can choose. You can also take a bit of time to think.
When you said music, I think that's a very important part of daily life for mental health. One of the things I have done since I've left, I didn't realise how important music was. So I would listen in on my drive to work. That would sort of get me ready for the day. And then going home, I need to be alone in the car. I didn't like giving anyone a lift because I wanted to be in the music. I wanted to be recharged before I got home to the kids. It's only in the last couple of years I realised the power of that. So when I've got things to do and I don't want to do them, and I feel things are dipping inside, then I will put my earphones in and I will listen to sort of nostalgic music, things that got you excited and something like that. And it helps you sort of move into the thing you have to do.
Yeah.
So that's always helped. I think since coming here, and I think it was one of the wellness workshops, Nadia had played healing music in the background.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've sort of searched for that. So I've saved a playlist of different types of healing music.
Is that the one like frequency sounds and
yes.
stuff?
But it's all very, it's something like a couple of hours in a loop.
Oh, it's kind of seamless.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is at a particular frequency, but they have some with just piano, some for relaxation, some for sleep, and so my son listens to it when he's feeling a bit anxious going to bed. In the morning where I'm struggling, I'll have it on when I'm making the boys breakfast. So that makes me less grumpy in the morning. So there's a lot of power in music.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I was just thinking about what you were saying about getting into the car and putting on the music. And there's something, I think there's very few opportunities that we have in life where nobody can make us do anything. And like when you're in the car, that kind of is one of those spaces, particularly if you're driving and it's just like, no, the thing I'm doing now is driving. You can't make me do anything else. And also, I really resonate with that feeling of being like, oh, you know what, actually, I don't want to give anyone a lift. I just want to put my music on and have this be my space for like, even if it's just 20 minutes, it's my space. Music and anything like that kind of sensory, other sensory element to bring into a scenario like that really just puts you back in your body, doesn't it?
Yeah, certainly.
Thanks. Yeah. How about you, Malaika?
I'm just thinking there's so many variety of things that I'm always looking for something that can ground me. And that again could be music, and most likely is because I like vibrations. I like things that kind of remind me that I'm still here. So I've recently realized I do this thing where I go to the bathroom and I just want to wash my hands. I need, even if I've not put soap, I just need water on my body. So I love swimming. When I'm able to get to the steam room or swimming, but I'm thinking about like the immediate stuff. It's usually my music's my go-to.
Yeah.
Or my cats or my bed. I just want to lie down. But then there's a thin line between like being in bed for too long and then like feeling even more of a wave of depression or anxiety coming in. So I'm always like, am I really tired and fatigued, or am I just feeling really, really low? And then if I have the capacity, I can kind of reflect on just saying it's okay. Like if I really want to sleep, because sometimes I found like if I do have a bit of a power nap, I wake up even more, oh, okay, that's all I needed. And then the power nap might turn into 4 hours instead of 5 hours. And I'm like, okay, the day is gone. But I don't sleep very well in general. So I know lying down is my kind of reset mode.
Yeah.
But I'm always having like jazz playing or classical music or like Afro chill vibe, something that's just, I want to feel like I'm in another world, kind of. That makes any sense. And then I have to come back in. And then if I am able to actually get out the house or something, I might sit in my garden.
Yeah.
Take off my socks, just put my feet on the ground, go to the park. So all these little, I think it just comes back to sensory stuff.
Yeah.
And then I love nostalgia. So I might watch like an old Disney film or something that just takes, I like imagination. So something that I can just focus on, and in that moment I'm there, but I'm not sucked into the reality that's trying to maybe make me feel sad. But I am known to cry.
Yeah.
And just sit there and like, you're right, you're just smiling a minute ago. I'm like, no, I have to do this because it will just feel weird. So I'm somebody that now and again I will just let myself cry. Yeah. And I'm okay about that now.
Yeah, that's good. Have you always been like that? Or
I think I've like, as in terms of the crying?
Yeah. Have you always been able to do that? Because lots of people find it really hard to cry, actually.
I think when I was younger, I think I suppressed a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. Then I got to a stage where I was having what we now know as dissociative seizures.
Okay.
So it's like there was a lot of stuff pent up, either it's pain, physical pain, or mental pain, or flashbacks and things like that. And it's almost, my body just didn't know what to do with all of that. So then I'll just shut down until when I was in hospital for a period of time, I just was crying and just releasing a lot, and then they reduced. So I was just like, okay, that's interesting. But that kind of happened in my late 20s and onwards. Let me think. But yeah, my family started calling me like emotional. and friends, and I was just like, well, I am an emotional person. Like, the world is so emotional, beautiful, sad, all the emotions, and I just wasn't somebody at a certain point where I wanted to hold all of it in. It was doing more harm.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely from like my 20s till now, I will have a good release, but I'm more prone to coloring as well, if I remember. So I do like mindfulness coloring, but now when I'm crying, there's like mixed emotions. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm grieving, all this, but
Yeah.
I like a good cry.
Yeah.
I think it's healthy for anybody, really.
I agree. Yeah, sometimes it's like so completely necessary, isn't it? Yeah, but I think that like for a long time I found that like there was either no crying or there was only crying. And like now I feel like I can more comfortably like just a little cry is fine, you know, rather than like being like, no, there's no crying, because in case all the crying becomes like encompassing, you know. And like now I also cry when I'm happy. Which took a really long time. And I think like it's I guess like not everyone.
No, they don't. I'm just like, you're happy, aren't you? You're not. This thing happened. Why are you crying? I'm like, I can't. It's just I'm happy. Joyful tears.
Yeah, joyful tears. Great. Those are all really excellent short term. A lot of it is sensory, isn't it? That kind of that experience of being like, right, well, I've gone into my my thinking self, and actually it seems quite bad in there. So I need to find something that's like
feel.
Yeah, I love to put my feet in on the grass if I can as well.
Yeah, that's a game changer. That is.
It really is, isn't it? I think poor feet, they're just like so cooped up all day long.
Who invented these?
Okay, so how about long-term long-term actions, like things that we could do over like long periods of time that sort of bed in, I guess, into our habits. So you mentioned sleep, for example, and
huge.
That's not always very that can take a long time to get into a good sleep routine, and then the good sleep routine
be consistent
to kind of so that's like an example of a long-term thing, or like something actually which is it's a social connection thing that I do. I have a very good friend who we've been friends for I don't know, almost 20 years or something, and he had a kid a couple of years ago, so we don't see each other as much. We see each other but once a month we meet up and we go to the cinema and we have dinner and then we talk about the film, and it's so good. And it's like just a little thing that I know that we're going to do it every month.
You're looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it. So I plan something that I'm looking forward to doing. It's like culturally interesting to me. There's like a cerebral element to it because we get to kind of dissect it afterwards, and I get to see my friend. But that like accumulatively, it's so great because we are kind of ticking all these boxes together. So that's a couple of little examples from me personally. But other things, other kind of routine-based stuff.
I think what you've touched upon is so important, the social connection. And it's almost like planting it here and there. I love that you have it planned for a month. So my old colleagues, these are the ones I'm really close to. A lot of them have left before I had left the school. There's one person still there, and we have a dinner when everybody can. We make it one every term or 2 weeks. It's down to like 2 a year. That's like our big thing because one of them lives in Dubai now. So that's a big thing that we look forward to when the 5 of us can meet up. And these small little meetups that you make, the power of it and how much it can lift you afterwards. It's just, and I think there was a period in my life before when I did these things, I didn't notice. You'll say afterwards, "Oh, it's great to see you," blah, 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 but you don't realize how big it was, because I always say this is another thing after OPE that I've learned is the value of the pause when we're doing things, and it allows you to just stop and take in your surroundings. So when you have a social connection, it sort of gives you this sort of buzz that's a little bit more longer lasting, as opposed to, you know, it's not just, oh yep, something that's happened. It has a bit more value. So I love that for one. I think I've always underestimated the impact of that, because I need a lot of me time, because I've got kids, a family, and everybody.
Busy.
So so my focus is always, no, I want my me time, but it needs this, what is it, now and often.
It's the quality of the connection.
Yes, it's the quality of the connection. The other thing I was thinking about when you were talking about the grass, and you'd mentioned about how we sort of see rest as a solution. And I think in the past, that's all people ever thought about. Oh, you need to take a break, have some rest, and then you'll come back. But for a lot of people, because they never have that balance right, they will keep going until we fall into burnout. And we can't get back up as quickly. And I have found that when I've managed to get myself into burnout. And so it's almost giving yourself permission to take a break, and making that a daily practice. So this was advice from a therapist a while back about planning in a rest. So I think I started this about 6 or 7 months ago, where I have a 2 o'clock alarm that says it's an alarm for rest time. And it's because I have to pick up my youngest from school about 3:15. I have to leave, and what I do is I'll get through the day and then find myself rushing to pick him up without stopping, and then I'm suddenly in charge of the kids. And then I'm very difficult in the evening, because I have plowed through and not given any break or anything. And it was something I did unconsciously when I was working. Before I left work, I'd have a cup of tea. So I'm between the cup of tea and the music in the car, I'm recharged by the time I get home. And I was following the alarm to tell me what to do. And I've done that for, as I said, it must be about 7 months. One of the things I was sharing this week on the Wednesday group was, this was a really big achievement for me. I was cooking on Tuesday, and I think I was trying to make 2 dishes, and I thought, right, I'm going to do this separately. So I made this chicken curry, and I just paused and I went, right, I'm going to take my break now. And it was 1:30. And it was just a moment of listening to your body and saying, I need to sit down and eat something, even if I'm not hungry enough to have a big lunch, just something small, and I need a cup of tea. But just making that decision without the alarm felt like such an achievement. But it takes time, because we're doing the unwiring of whatever, the habits. So I think that's always a good place to start. So we can have an intention. And I'm someone that suffers from time blindness. So I have been living with, ever since I got a phone when I was 20 or whenever it was, I've used it for alarms, and that's the only way I stay ahead of life.
Terrible for
and I don't just, even if I have to go to an event, so coming to a workshop here, when I put the alarm into the Google Calendar, I do an alarm the day before, and then an hour before I need to leave, as well. So there'll be multiple reminders to constantly bring it to, the front of your thinking. But that makes a huge difference if we're trying to implement a habit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really, you said something really key about like rest, I think, where if you are burnt out, overwhelmed, overstretched, really low, like actually it's very hard to rest it's really hard to know how to rest. And actually, if somebody says, here's your rest time, it actually can kind of make you feel worse because you don't know how to do it. And you're like, you have to form the habit, like you said. And and actually that forming that habit might need an action, like setting an alarm or being like, this is when I have my cup of tea, just so that you have something to tether that rest to before you can actually really, and like you say, like now you've been doing it this period of time, and then you just had the feeling, you were like, I need to do this now, and you listen to that, but you have to do the habit forming stuff, and you need to learn how to rest.
And it was uncomfortable to do it at first. But I had to start it with a cup of tea and chocolate digestives.
Lovely.
That was, so then it was a treat. So then I would want to do it. Otherwise, because there were times I thought, no, I could keep going, but no, I want the chocolate digestives. So the incentive really helps, especially if you're not trained to think like that either. That reminds me of something else when you said about the types of rest. True rest is something that I've really had to get my head around, the idea that you actually have zero input into your body. So even if it means, sitting in your comfortable chair or on your bed or lying down and just doing nothing for a short period of time, because I think you have to learn to pause before you can start implementing things. And so I think when I did it, I would sit for a minute, and that was doable. Especially if you've got an analog clock, because you can actually see the seconds going past, and it doesn't seem that long. Whereas if you look at a digital one, I think it can sort of not be good for your mental health, because you're just sort of like, how long is this 1 minute going to be? But that was a really big, another game changer for me, because I can do that now for 5 or 10 minutes. But again, it's a long-term thing that you have to start small.
And it's similar to like what you were saying about the connecting with people. It's the quality of the thing that you do, it's the quality of the connection, it's the quality of the rest. It's not necessarily the duration or the frequency. Malaika, how about you? Would you like to share a long-term habit of action?
It's like in my mind, I'm already thinking, where do I even begin? Because with me, I kind of like structure, but then I also don't like it. It's can be very confusing. So I also kind of mix in some rewarding in there as well, where say the series I was watching, I was like, I really want to watch this. I know it's coming out on Wednesday or Thursday or something, or Monday. So I have certain activities around some of my favorite things I like to do. So some prompts that I have would be bit by bit, I want to write in my journal, or maybe it's my prayer journal, or maybe it's my wish journal. I just have so many notebooks, basically, so many notebooks with so many little ideas. And then I realized, for me, something I always like saying is, the small things are the big things. So if I put like one of my journals in each room or different corners of the house, at some point my eye is going to glance on that thing. Sometimes I don't see it. Then I'll go in another room. I'm like, that thing when you walk into a room, like, what did I, let me go back and end up picking up something else. But I have it next to something I really enjoy. So I might have like my favorite Funko Pop, like might be a character from Star Trek. And I'm like, I'm watching that episode that day. So I do little like kind of association drops for me.
You're like seeding.
Literally. It's just like, for me, like my little self, my little kid is like, we get to do something really fun today. But it's really just small things, small habits I struggle to be consistent with. But I really do like writing, or when I struggle to write, I'll voice record myself saying something, or my little ideas and stuff. But I realized, because I've keep a lot of things in, I'm looking at ways for it to come out. I love taking pictures. I love photography. So I could take a picture of just sitting here of anything in this room in a creative way, and I always get that burst of, oh, so that's something that stayed with me since I was young anyway.
Yeah.
So it's always something creatively bringing me back in. But when it comes to the long term, one of my focuses right now is really my sleep hygiene. It's up and down, especially starting new medication and things like that. Just trying to be kind to myself, which I know people say, oh, it's so easily, but it is simple things like, okay, I put that tablet cool medication box next to that particular journal that has like my favorite list of movies to watch or something like that. Or I have a music playlist. So I like making playlists. I like making things I can easily access to kind of prompt me, or maybe my friends or my carers might prompt me. But it's really, I get a lot of joy from being around people that feel safe as well. So one of my long-term things, and I think I'm getting much better at noticing who I feel safe around.
Right.
So I spend my time with them, either it's on the phone, having a watch party and watching a film together, or meeting up with somebody in the community that wants to go swimming or go to the ski room. But it still comes back to connecting with myself through other people as well when I can. But sleep one, that's the one that's a long-term habit for me. But I know a lot of people say this about food as well.
Yeah.
I've been tracking, and not obsessively, oh, calories, this and that. I've been also looking at the foods that I like, the things that are harmful to my body specifically, and then the treats. I'm like, okay, how often can I have that particular treat? So when you mentioned the digestive biscuits, I was smiling because I have my custard cream on the jar next to the kettle, and I take that alongside like my medication or maybe some of my vitamins and stuff that try and help me sleep and stuff. So it's all the little things that add to the big thing, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that is really like the core of it, isn't it? That like we need to do lots of small actions in order to have like a bigger impact. Whether that's just for us or for the kind of people around us as well. Right, so we're going to do, I think probably we'll just do one prompt so that everybody can get out of here actually at a reasonable time. So who would like to pick a prompt? It can't be me.
Would you like to go first?
Okay. If you read it and you're like, I'm absolutely not answering that, you can chuck it over your shoulder and pick another one. We'll all answer it as well.
Oh, she exhaled.
I know.
Okay. So what is something about mental health that people often get wrong?
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah.
Funnily enough, I was actually thinking of this at the start.
Oh, yeah.
As a teacher, I wasn't very good at looking after my own mental health. You know, everything is about the children that you teach. And we do a lot of work in supporting the children with their mental health. But everything was so focused on knowing how to take breaks and doing something fun. But it was quite limited, I feel, looking back on it. Because for most people, they think just taking a break from it is enough. Whereas actually, it's about what you were talking about. It's having or inserting good habits. And there were so many little things I was thinking about that I have changed about myself. So, for example, I have a limit on my Instagram.
Yeah.
So after 30 minutes, it will tell me. Now, I can override it if I want to. So if I'm in the middle of something, I can. But if that happens, I try and do 5 minutes. But it gives me at least a pause to stop, to say, okay, I've been on this for 30 minutes at a time. But very small things that allow you to detach from the things that you almost cling on to for support. You know, and you feel sort of bad about that. And I think that's part of the problem, that having good mental health means you have to be allowing yourself to take those options and give yourself permission, and know that you deserve to do that. That thinking was a bigger problem I found when we talked about mental health. You know, women age, if they're parents or they've got family members that rely on them, because they're in this constant loop of giving, and that's, you know, that's your thinking, you don't think about yourself. And for most people to go home and have a good night's sleep, that is, you know, their equivalent of understanding rest and nothing beyond that. So yeah. that was my thought.
Yeah,
no, I like it. I like the sort of different interpretations of like what I really love about talking to people about mental health and also doing the workshops together and things like that is I love to see how people interpret a question or a prompt or a conversation point and really like kind of give such insight into something from, you know, just a very small little question. I just think it's great. How would you like to do you want to you can choose another one if you prefer.
I don't mind, but even that question now, you know, when you exhaled, I was like, I wonder what it says, and then you said it, I said, oh my god, that's so vast.
Yeah,
if it's okay to mention, because you've got things like the Mental Health Act, that was it 2005, the first one officially, then they looked at it again, and there's still so much misunderstandings about how it really does affect people in their daily lives. And I think when it comes to people's understanding of it or making these laws or bills and putting things in place, they're not actually co-producing or co-design, working alongside people with the actual lived experience. So it's a very sensitive topic for a lot of people, and it seeps down not just into the systems and the individuals going through it, but it's causing more and more harm to people in some of the institutes like the hospitals, and people getting locked up unnecessarily. And I shouldn't even be saying locked up in a mental hospital. It's meant to have rehabilitation. There should be better training, a better understanding, but we're not, a lot of us are not inside making these changes with the people that are making the changes. So when you're talking about teaching and then hearing you say like, this is what we're taught, and my mom's a teacher actually, she's head of her department, and I can sometimes think about her and some of my friends who are teachers, and they share with me like, I love the kids, it's all about the kids, and I'm like, but what about you? When do you get to unwind? And because they take it home with them and all of this stuff, and it's like, we can't really say anything because this is how these things are, and there's so much red tape. And so the prompt for me is what it just hit me there, because I was just like, man, how do you even, it's so layered. Layered. So it's just, there's so much going on now, and it's affecting people because of the misunderstandings and the miseducation, lack of proper training on how mental health does impact society as a whole. It's so much to say about it.
Absolutely. And it's really hard to, we're just scratching the surface
in
these conversations.
And that's without even looking at people with, you know, chronic anxiety, neurodivergence,
exactly, all the different ways that
all
mental
of
health
that,
and
exactly,
it's just
exactly.
It's not given a priority. It's not I think for most employers, they misunderstand that the productivity that they want comes with good mental health.
Yes,
because a happy, focused, driven person is going to give you more than an angry, burnt out employee. And that's the underlying problem across the board, whether it's hospitals, teaching, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that kind of prioritization of productivity and sort of a version of success that really comes at the cost of our mental health, but also our physical health, because the two things are completely inseparable. Which is actually, again, why I think some of Sue's workshops, for example, are so beneficial, because she really is thinking about our embodied mental health, the way that and I think it's, for me, it's quite revolutionary revolutionary. What?
Oh,
I don't know if I just put two words together.
I get you.
Yeah, I think when I first started to think about mental health beyond like talking therapies and more about like how you exist in your body with your mental health as your mental health. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's a very important part of the work, is to locate it, you know, in your whole self. So I think we're going to come to the close of our podcast session. The time really flies,
really
doesn't it? Yeah, every time we all sit down together, and in the beginning everyone's like, how are we going to sit here for 40 minutes, and then it just goes, it just disappears. So yeah, I will just reiterate that Mental Health Awareness Week is the 11th to 15th of May, and the theme this week is action. So hopefully we've given you a bit of a overview of of ourselves, but also what we kind of think about action within mental health and within mental health awareness. So thank you so much to my guests, Sue and Malaika, and yeah, I hope everyone has a lovely evening and that we can all come together another time, because every time I have people on, I'm like, when are we going to do the giant one with all of the guests all together?